Hi everyone, John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga. Welcome. This is Soft Flow. It's a 60-minute gentle yoga practice. So for our practice today, we need several props in our practice. So you'll want a blanket, something soft that you can sit on and kneel on. Always like to have that. And we'll need a couple of blocks, yoga blocks or books. And you want to make sure that they're firm so that you actually can sit on as well. Or if you happen to have just a nice firm cushion or pillow, that can also work too. Alrighty? And then a yoga strap. This can be just a long belt. It could be a necktie, just something long. It can even be a jump rope. Something like that. So that's all the things that we'll need for our yoga practice today. I'm going to invite you to take a comfortable seat and I'll talk about what we're going to be doing with all these props today. So as you sit up nice and tall, feel free to sit comfortably on your folded blanket or towel or even your pillow. If you need some extra support for your back, you might want to sit up against a wall for the first few moments of our practice. You can also do this in a chair. We're just going to be doing some breathing as we begin our class. So we're going to focus on the forward fold. Simply a forward fold, both in a standing position and some seated postures that we'll do that will not only affect our backs as we fold forward, but also affect our hamstrings, but also our hips. So some things that kind of work in combination with each other. So again, sitting up nice and tall. You might start with a few deep breaths, breathing in deeply through your nose. You can exhale through your nose or out through your mouth. Just help settle into the space. As you arrive in this moment, letting go of the things that are going on outside of you, all those distractions, so you can really and truly focus on what's happening inside of you and take care of yourself. You're welcome to keep your eyes open, and if you do keep them open, maybe you're just taking a soft gaze forward or downward. Your eyes can be soft. Or you can close your eyes and just take this internal journey. This is our breathing meditation. So as best as you can, just come to stillness. And just feel, experience the flow of your breath. Keep them slow and steady. Breathe in a way where you can hear your breath. So that might just mean turning up the volume of your breath a bit. Experience how your body is responding to your breath. You may notice the rise and fall of your chest as you inhale and exhale. Keep this connection. We'll deepen the connection by putting a little bit more focus on our breathing. So as you inhale, you just want to feel the breath rising upward. Feel that expansive quality in the chest, even the lengthening in your spine. Then as you exhale, draw your navel inward towards your spine. It's a light contraction of your abdominal muscles, just that engagement of your center. Again, an inhale, feel the lengthening in your spine, even sitting up a little taller in your seat. And exhale, draw belly in, keeping that nice connection to your center body. And just keep this awareness, breathing in and out. In a moment, we'll add a very simple movement to our breath work. Take 3 more breaths here in stillness. Prepare your body to move. And then when you're ready, inhale and extend your arms out across the room and let them float all the way up towards the ceiling. That's the in-breath. Then as you exhale, extend your arms out with some effort as they float back down, completing that first round of breath. Let's do that again. Inhale, reach out across the room, lifting upward. That's our in-breath. Exhale. You might even draw belly in, connecting to your center as your arms float back down by your side. Go ahead and continue on your own. Go at your own pace, so you don't have to necessarily follow me. You can even close your eyes for this. Just inhale, feel the arms float upward. Exhale, arms float back down. Again, there's some energy and effort in the extension of the arms. Reaching out. A good energy through your fingertips as if you're going to touch the walls on either side of you, then eventually the ceiling. Same thing when you bring the arms down. Now, as you're breathing and perhaps moving in slow motion, be aware of the sensations that are arising in your body. Your shoulders in motion as you lift the arms and bring them back down. Notice the lengthening through the sides of your body. All the while, do your best to continue sitting up as tall as you can. Go ahead and finish the breath that you're on right now, and then take 2 more breaths. Bringing good energy to your body as you breathe and move. And when you're complete, you just let your arms relax down by your side. Notice that transition from a moving body to a body in stillness. Take a breath or 2. While still seated, let's go ahead and bring the hands behind us. Just prop yourself up onto your fingertips. Arms behind you. Allow your shoulders just to pull back a bit. Tip your chin upward. It doesn't have to lift too high, just a little bit to create a little bit more space across the chest and a bit of an opening in your neck. We're creating a mild back bend. Now we're going to hold here several breaths. Since we're going to be doing a lot of forward folding, we will counter some of those folds with some heart openers or back bends like this one. Now you're going to inhale, press into the mat with your fingers, feel the energy shoot up through the arms. Fill up your lungs as you inhale. Exhale, draw belly in. Again, inhale. Fill up your lungs. Feel the strength and energy in your arms. When you exhale, draw belly in, and also as you're able, squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you. Let's do that a few more times. Again, the breath in, or your inhale. Feel the expansion through the chest. You might even feel this stretch quality across your chest from shoulder to shoulder. Exhale, still bringing some good energy in the body, navel to spine, engaged upper back. One more breath in and out. And when you're complete, just lower your chin a bit so your neck is long and you're looking directly forward. And then just walk your hands towards yourself so you can sit up nice and tall. You can even let your arms again just rest in your lap. Again, that change, that shift from activity in the body to a relaxed body. Let's take our first forward fold. Now, if your legs are crossed as mine are, you might uncross the legs and come to cobbler's pose or bound angle pose, which is a nice hip opener. Pressing the soles of your feet together. And maybe using your books or blocks, whatever you might have here, and just tuck them underneath the legs so they can rest on the block, so they can just rest open. And then maybe holding on to your ankles or shins so you can sit up as tall as can be. You're going to inhale, continue to feel the lengthening of the torso and spine. Exhale, draw belly in for a bit of support as you now move, hinging at the hips, leaning forward, being led by the heart and chin. And if you can notice me, I didn't move very far. We'll do that again. Inhale, extend the spine at this new angle you've created. You want to feel like your torso is lifting up out of the pelvic bowl. Exhale, draw belly in, hinging forward a tiny bit more. Let's do that again together. Inhale, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, connect to center and hinge. Let's hold here for a moment and just be aware if there's any sensation arising in the body. Maybe you'll start to feel a stretch in the inner legs. Again, this is a nice hip opener. We're going to go a little bit further. This time you're welcome to lower the chin a little bit and let the back round a little bit. Okay, not too much. We'll be doing much more of this later in the practice. This is really just inviting the body to these new sensations. Make sure you're breathing deeply, and as best as you can, perhaps breathe into your back body. When we're doing our back bend, heart opening, we're breathing into the chest. You feel that stretch across the chest. In the same vein, you want to feel that across the back as you're folding forward. Even imagine you're trying to breathe into the back side of your lungs, just using a greater capacity of your lungs. All right, 2 more breaths here. If your back is rounded, you may just lift your chin a little bit to re-extend through the neck and spine. Even use your hands on your mat to help press and lift yourself up so you're nice and tall once again in your seat. Just hold, come to stillness, take a breath. All right, let's move these props out of the way for the moment. And we'll come to our hands and knees. Just go ahead and kneel on your mat or use your cushion here, your blanket or a towel. I like to unfold mine to a long rectangle so I can place my knees and hands here. And here's our tabletop position, cat and cow. We're going to inhale, lift your head, looking forward really to open up your heart, arching the back, creating a bit of a back bend. That's our cow pose, and exhale, round it all out. Here's that chin tucking in towards chest, belly button's pulling up towards spine. There's that rounded back again too. Keep it moving, go at your own pace. You're going to inhale and feel your pelvis tip back. That's what creates that back bend. The belly drops, heart opens. Exhale, lower your chin towards chest, pull belly button up towards spine, tucking the tailbone under. Continue to flow. You can go at your own pace. I'm going pretty slowly here, but again, you can go at your own pace with this. Creating a nice undulation through the spine, even opening up some regions of the back that can get pretty stiff, even compressed. Finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more. When you're complete, just pause in stillness in this tabletop position. We'll take another forward fold here, and that's child's pose. You might even take your knees just a bit wider and start to sit back, hips towards heels. As you lower your chest down towards the floor, you can even bring a pillow right here if you want. I like to bring in a block so I can rest my forehead and your arms extend out front. Now it's okay if the hips don't touch the heels. It's even okay, I'll even do this. It's even okay if the hips are kind of high here and the arms still extended. We call this puppy pose. Here you get a nice extension through the spine. So child's pose, maybe just 3 more breaths. This is another pose we will certainly come back to. And again, I'll say this a few times, but when we are in these forward folds, do your best to breathe in the back side of your lungs. Maybe you can just feel or imagine the back expanding. All right, we're going to rise back up to hands and knees. Let's start moving our props out of the way so we can get set up for downward facing dog. So you're going to move your pad out of the way as well. Come back to your tabletop. We'll start by stepping the hands forward, and when you do, spread out your fingers pretty wide so you have a good strong base. It also stretches between each finger. Press palms firmly into the mat with a little extra press towards your thumbs and index fingers. You might even feel an energy arise in your inner arms. That's good. Strong straight arms here. You want a strong, steady foundation. Now tuck your toes. Let's do another cat-cow. You're going to inhale to cow. That's the back bend. Just tip the head up a little bit. Exhale, it's rounded out into cat pose. Hold cat. And now lift your knees off your mat and lift your hips up into the air. You might need to step forward a tiny bit so you can feel a bit more secure in your pose. Keep a good bend in your knees, allowing your hips to lift up while hands continue to press strongly into the ground. Take a moment just to shake out the head. Loosen up your neck.
Now look directly down so you can start walking forward just a few steps until you're perhaps standing in the center of your mat. Feet are flat on your mat. You might need to slide your fingertips toward your toes. This is a forward fold. It's a deep one. Let's get out of it because we're not going to come back to this depth of the pose just yet. Shift your weight back into your heels. Bend your knees. Extend your spine. You're going to slide your hands up the shins, maybe to your knees or just below the knees. We'll hold here. Okay, just like this. We'll half forward fold instead of going all the way down. And holding that position, let's just do the halfway mark. Here you can keep a very good bend in the knees. You might even feel, it's kind of automatic, your hamstrings will engage, okay, so you stay balanced here as you extend your spine parallel to the floor. Continue to shift your weight into your heels, bend your knees more, tip your torso up, maybe take your arms out to the side, drive your heels into the ground to straighten the legs. Stand nice and tall. Get even taller by reaching both arms up into the air, and exhale, bring your arms down to your side. We've made it to our first standing pose, mountain pose or Tadasana. Feel free to take some movement in the shoulders, maybe your head and neck if you'd like. I always like to circle my wrists. We do a lot of work on our hands with that force flex position, so if you want to circle the wrists a little bit, that's always nice. Even work down the legs, hips, knees, feet, and ankles. All right, we're going to do our same forward fold and come back up. We are going to hold the forward fold, the partial fold. Okay? Inhale, extend your arms all the way up. We want to get that good lengthening through the spine and upper body. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees a whole lot. Feel like you're sitting back into an imaginary chair as you fold. Bring your hands down. Now, you don't have to go all the way down. Let your hands land at your shins, maybe just to the ankles. So you are in a fold, and just lean forward a little bit towards toes. Okay, you might even need to grip your mat with your toes so you don't topple over. We'll consider this our forward fold. Now, if you need a little extra support, and if your books or blocks are handy, bring them in right here. Mine happen to be right next to me, so I'm just going to use those as a little extra support in this fold. Take some deep breaths. Now your back might be flat and long, but perfectly fine if there's a curve or a rounded feeling. You can just lower the head. I actually suggest that. Let your head relax. Maybe nod a few times, shake your head no a few times just to ensure that looseness there. Forward fold. I'll say a little bit more about what a forward fold can represent. All right, we're going to start to stand. I'm moving my blocks out of the way. Shifting the weight back into the heels now. Bend your knees. Feel like you're going to sit down, bending the knees, lifting the upper body, spread your wings, standing up tall, straight legs. Let's keep this stretch here. Both arms in the sky. Keep breathing. Another inhale. Exhale, stay here. One more inhale, reach a little higher. Exhale, now we'll bring the arms to your side. Once again, any movement you want to add right here. Shoulders, elbows, wrists and fingers all the way down the body if you'd like. And then eventually just make your way back to mountain pose. I'm going to quickly adjust my mat and we'll go through our sun salutation. Take your time. We'll inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, swan dive forward. So a hinge at the hips, bending your knees, sitting back gently. Slow fold here. Coming down towards toes, releasing head, neck, and shoulders. Again, your hands can land at your shins or ankles. Inhale, you're going to slide your hands back up the legs to extend the spine so the back is flat like a table. Exhale, fold. Going back down. Bend your knees more because this time we'll need to bring the hands down to the mat. Walk or step both feet back into plank pose. So the feet walk to the back edge of your mat. Draw a straight line in the body, like so. Breathe in. Exhale, bend your knees a bit. Send your hips into the air. Downward facing dog. This could be considered a forward fold as well, but probably more classified as an inverted posture. Make sure the head and neck feel relaxed. And let's continue. Inhale, let's lift the right leg, extending it up, reaching back towards the back wall is good. Exhale, bend your right knee. Bring the right knee in underneath you. As you shift your whole upper body, shoulders will stack over the wrists, and then just set the right foot down. It can be right in the center of your mat, that's fine. And then gently set your left knee onto the ground. That should allow you to pick up your right hand, reach back, and literally pick up the right foot and place it near the top of the mat where your right hand will be. Relift the left knee, pivot or turn the left heel to the floor. Press into the mat with that foot. I'm going to rise up to fingertips to help lift the upper body and help extend the torso straight and long. It's kind of resting out over the right thigh. And then hinge from hips, rising up, reaching into the air. Hold here, warrior one. Now you're welcome to bend the elbows a little bit. Stay strong here. Here's what we'll do. Go ahead and relax your arms down by your side just so your shoulders can relax. Since we're in this wide stance, okay, the legs separated just like this, and because of the turning of this left leg, it's actually doing an outer rotation. Maybe you're feeling a little stretch and release in the left hip flexor. That's ideal for this pose, especially if you feel like your torso feels tall and you're facing forward. It creates a minor rotation. Okay, so the left leg is doing an outward spiral while your torso is kind of turning in the opposite direction. Let's inhale and re-extend the arms straight up. We're going to exhale, fold again, coming forward. Bring the hands down to the mat. Rise up onto tiptoes behind you. Be sure you press your hands firmly and strongly into the mat. You might even lift your hips slightly. And then slide or step the right foot back to meet the other. You'll be in plank pose. It's okay if the hips are kind of high here. Inhale, getting ready to move. Exhale, bend your knees a bit like you're going to kneel, but send hips up into the air. Adjust your feet. You might need to tiptoe forward a tiny bit. Settle in, and we'll do the other side. Here's an inhale to extend left leg up into the air. It doesn't have to lift high at all. As you exhale, bend this left knee. You're going to bring it in underneath you towards your chest or chin as you shift your body forward, shoulders over the wrists. Set the left foot down, doesn't matter where, and set the right knee down. Now we're going to go get this left foot, pick it up, place it up higher. Replace this left hand, of course. Relift the right knee. We're getting to that lunge. Turn that back foot. That's the outer spiral of that leg. Plant that foot into the ground. Rise to fingertips to help lift up a bit and feel the extended spine. Feel like the crown of your head, the very top of your head, is pointing directly forward. Now hinge from hips as best as you can. Reaching up into the air, warrior one. As you exhale, just lunge a little deeper. Feel free to bend elbows. Let's hold for a couple of breaths, as we did earlier on the other side. And then go ahead and relax the arms, just bring them down so we can pay attention to the action in the legs. Of course, the left knee and toes are pointing forward. We have a nice knee bend here. That back leg is getting that outer spiral. The whole foot's on the ground, opening up through the right hip flexor. Be sure you feel tall in the torso. As best as you can, you're kind of facing forward. So you kind of get this open door effect, okay, to help open that right side. We're going to inhale, reach the arms straight up into the sky. Exhale, fold. Maybe the arms come forward. Plant the hands. Rise up onto your tiptoes behind you. I call this a runner's lunge. Press firmly into the ground with your palms. Lift your hips so it unlocks the left foot or makes it lighter so you can slide it back. Plank pose. Hold. Let's set the knees down gently. We're going to sit back briefly in hero, just like this, just to get off the hands. Sit off to the side. Swing the legs around to the front. You might want to sit in the center of your mat. Okay, because we're going to roll down onto the back. But you want your blocks here or your books. It can even be a big cushion if you want. Okay, we're going to roll down onto the back. We're getting ready for our supported bridge pose. So we'll go ahead and lie down. Feel free to hug the knees into chest. Okay, this too can be considered a forward fold. Okay, but also a nice massage for the back if you add a little bit of movement.
And then we'll create a back bend. All right, let's set the feet onto the ground. Be sure your blocks are right nearby. You can easily grab them. Inhale, fill up your lungs. Exhale, engage your core center, and then lift your hips high enough so you can slide your blocks underneath you. Supported bridge pose. Just take a seat, just situate the blocks or books or pillow, whatever you've got there. And really just feel the body relax. And return to the awareness of your breath. You can really pay attention to your breathing since there's less engagement throughout the rest of the body. You can do this with eyes open, gazing upward, or even close your eyes for the next few moments. Now, as we prepare for our forward folds, there's two things what we'll talk about. One of them is doing a forward fold is a type of honoring, a bowing to yourself, honoring yourself, and all those indicators of appreciating, honoring, and loving yourself. 2 more breaths here in our supported bridge pose. Then when you're finished, you're going to press the feet into the ground, giving your body some energy so you can lift your hips, slide your blocks out from underneath you, and carefully come back down to the ground. Go ahead and hug your knees into chest. You might rock forward and back gently. You're going to rise up to seated. Now you can just rock your way up, forward and up, or if you'd like, just roll to one side, which I'm doing. Roll to your side, use your hands and help press, and lift yourself up to seated. Now let's sit with extended legs here. Okay, flex your feet, hands on the floor by your hips, push into the ground to help you extend the spine nice and tall. Again, you want to feel like your torso is rising up out of the pelvic bowl. So you have a nice L shape or 90 degrees. Now let's just hold here for a couple breaths. You might even roll your shoulders back, squeezing shoulder blades together. Make sure your neck feels long and you're looking directly forward. Staff pose. In a moment, we'll take our forward fold and bringing back that idea of honoring and bowing to yourself. Now, when we fold, you might want to use your strap. So grab your strap. Hopefully, it's nearby. You can soften up here a little bit. And then let's get the strap underneath the feet, holding onto the ends, of course. Now, when you tug on the strap, you can use that as a way to help re-extend the spine to sit up nice and tall. Okay, now when you inhale, you want to feel that lifted torso. Exhale, pull belly in, and the other tug of the strap to gently draw yourself forward. You can always change your hand position on your strap there. Inhale, feel lifted and lengthened. Exhale, draw belly in, maybe another tug of the strap to fold. Now, at first, we like to work with straight legs, straight spine. Stay here. So you can really feel this in the hamstrings, that lengthened torso. Even keep the neck in the same alignment as the spine. Now you can continue holding on to the strap. I'm going to release and just rest my hands on my shins. We're going to go a little further. Feel free here to bend your knees. Okay, you can keep the knees bent. And what you could do, which is what I'm going to try to do here, since I have a blanket nearby, I'm going to roll up my blanket. It's kind of thick though, but place it underneath my knees. Okay, so they feel support. Actually, that feels quite nice. Just like that. And then hands are just kind of resting on the shins, chin lowered, back can round. Okay? And if you can't reach your toes, that's fine, but you don't have to reach your toes. And here's our forward fold, seated forward fold. And with the curvature in the spine, you might have more sensation in your back body, since you're getting a flexion or stretch sensation in your back. Now, continue to breathe deeply, continuing to expand your back as best as you can, and expanding through the back side of your lungs. As you breathe here, maybe close your eyes, go inside of self, and even create
a short mantra for yourself, something about honoring and loving yourself. Make up anything. It can just be as simple as, I honor myself. Let's take 3 more breaths. We're going to slowly just rise back up. It's okay if your back is still rounded, chin can be lowered, and just kind of roll all the way back up until you're nice and tall here, looking directly forward. If you've got some props like that blanket, we're just going to set that to the side. And just hold here. Actually, just come back to that active staff pose for a moment. Press into the floor, feel lifted and lengthened. A couple breaths. And then go ahead and relax. All right, we're going to go back to our hands and knees. So maybe let's move these props out of the way, just off to the side. Just keep them handy. Bending the knees, just going to swing the legs around to the back. Come to hands and knees. Another series of cat and cow. So we can throw in another back bend sensation as a counter to the forward fold we just did. And continuing the nice movement not only through the spine, but also through the pelvis. As we're moving, let me say a little bit more about that seated forward fold. So not only are we honoring ourselves in that seated forward fold, but it can have another meaning. The seated forward fold in Sanskrit is Paschimottanasana, which really refers to your back side. Paschima means west or west side. So your back refers to your west side. I'll say more in a moment. Take one more breath in and out. And let's take a little pause here. Take the knees a bit wider. Sit back into child's pose or puppy pose. I'm going to use this cushion this time, bringing it in between my knees a little bit so I can actually rest my torso right here on the cushion. And we continue to talk about Paschimottanasana, that seated forward fold or west side. Another meaning of the west part of your body, it could also mean community. Community. So it might be the community of your household, the community like your neighborhood in which you live, your workplace, your city, a group of friends, your community. And I'm sure you've heard the term, I've got your back. I've got your back as a way of supporting a person, a friend, a family member, your community. I've got your back. And so that seated forward fold, exposing or opening the back, can represent just that, your community. Let's take 3 more breaths. Take your time. We're coming up out of that child's pose. If you've got some props, let's set those to the side. Let's just do 3 breaths, cat-cow. Again, keeping that nice mobility through the spine and pelvis. Go at your own pace. We're going to go through another flow. Hold here in this tabletop position. Once again, step your hands forward, spread out your fingers, press palms firmly into the mat, strong straight arms. Tuck your toes. With an exhale, lift your knees, send your hips into the sky, feel the lengthening through the spine. Tiptoe forward just a little bit so you feel secure in your pose. Keep knees bent, lift hips, relax your head. Hands press firmly into the ground. Let's flow. Inhale, extend right leg up. reaching straight back. Exhale, bend your right knee, bring it in underneath you towards chest. If you're able, land that right foot just behind right hand, or you can do what we did earlier, okay? Then you're going to pivot that left heel to the floor like you did earlier. Rise to fingertips to lift upper body and extend upper body. Hinge from hips when you're ready, rising to a warrior one, reaching into the air. Now on this exhale, you're going to turn your torso towards the left side of the room. Bring your arms down to parallel. You can even adjust the feet. I like to go a little wider here. Just be sure your right knee and toes are pointing forward. You have a nice knee bend. Straight leg down back. Outside edge of your foot touching the ground. You might even turn your head so you're looking out over your right hand. Let's follow the right hand forward as if you're moving forward, angled upper body, and rotate the arms. And you might even bend this arm, which I'm going to do at 90 degrees, and rest it lightly on the thigh while the left hand reaches into the air. And now turn your gaze, if you're able, towards the ceiling past your left hand. So just a little neck work is all. Let's take some deep breaths. One more inhale, and then the exhale, lifting a bit so we can turn towards the floor, carefully fold, so we can bring the hands to the mat, rise up onto tiptoes behind you, press firmly into the ground with the hands, lift hips, slide right foot back, plank pose, just feel that straight line form in the body. Bend your knees a little, send your hips into the air. As hips lift, tiptoe forward a tiny bit. Again, just settling into the posture, secure and strong. Inhale, extend left leg up, reaching back. Exhale, bend left knee, bring it forward, shifting the body forward so the foot can land just behind the left hand. That works perfectly fine. Right heel turns to the floor, shifting the weight back into that foot. Rise to fingertips, extend torso, crown pointing forward. When you're all set up, then hinge from hips with an inhale, reaching into the sky. Your exhale, turn torso now to the right side of the room. This is where you can start making some adjustments with your feet as well. And legs. Arms extend parallel to the floor. Left knee bent, pointing forward. Outstretched arms. You can keep your head neutral, just like this, looking at the right side of the room, or turn your head so it's looking out past the left hand. Let's follow the left arm forward to angle the upper half of the body. Start to rotate here. I'm going to bend my left arm and rest the arm lightly on the thigh, which you're welcome to do, or place your hand there, or your straight arm can be on the inner leg. Right hand reaching into the air, and if it feels okay on your neck, turn your gaze upward past your right hand. Let's take 3 breaths. Let's take a 4th inhale, and exhale, carefully turn. We're folding, landing on the hands carefully. Rise up on your tiptoes behind you. There's our runner's lunge. Strong press into the mat with the hands. Slide left foot back, plank pose. Let's gently set the knees onto the floor. Sit back into hero. Sit off to the side, swing the legs around to the front. Now we need to set up some things here. We are going to do another forward fold, but we're going to need some props. What you may want to use is just a blanket, but maybe give it a little extra bump. Okay, so I just folded mine just a little bit. I have a pretty thick blanket here. And you're going to kind of sit on the edge of it. Okay, so not all the way on the blanket, but kind of to the edge. So it almost feels like you're going to slip off, okay? You're on and slightly off at the same time. And what that can do is kind of propel you forward. We're going to do this with the blanket, but we're also going to do that with a block or a big pillow, okay? But for this first one, we're going to extend one leg. We'll extend the right leg forward, bend the left knee, bring that foot to the inner leg, maybe to thigh if it reaches there. It could be lower. And then if you've got a book or block handy, maybe place that underneath the knee over here. So we're going to move into head to knee pose, but we're just going to treat it like we did the other forward folds. We're going to inhale and get let's use our strap. Let's get our strap ready. Let's wrap the strap around the bottom of the foot.
You can always release this as we get into the pose, but a nice place to start. Inhale, pull on the strap to sit up tall. Exhale, pull belly in and a little tug of the strap to hinge forward, just a little bit. Inhale, feel lengthen through the spine. Exhale, draw belly in, little tug of the strap to hinge forward. You want to feel like you're leading with your heart and your chin forward. Just come to a space where you feel that right hamstring extend and stretch. We're also getting a nice hip opener on the left side because of that leg placement. Now again, you can always hold on to the strap or release the strap. Lower the chin, let the back round, and go a little deeper. So now we've got kind of two ideas with our forward fold practice. One, it's an honoring of self. Maybe that's a good place to start. Honor yourself, appreciate and love yourself. And then you can expand that, if you'd like, to your community. Posthuma, your west side, your back side, your community. Whatever that community might be. And because you're perhaps sitting on that folded blanket, just notice if you feel kind of propelled forward. We're going to emphasize that again using something a bit higher in a moment. If your hands are on the floor, okay, if you're holding on to a strap, let's say this. If you're holding onto the strap, release the strap, place hands on the floor, and walk your hands towards yourself so you can start to rise back up. Just support the body lifting. It just kind of rounds. And then finally just re-extending so you're nice and tall here. Finishing that first side. Let's go ahead and extend the left leg. We'll bend the right knee. Bring the foot to inner leg. Again, just using a block on this side for support, just in case that knee doesn't touch the ground. It doesn't have to. Still sitting on the edge of your blanket so you can get propelled forward. Let's start with the strap again, wrapped around the sole of the foot. Here we go. And inhale, let's get that extended spine lifting up out of the pelvic bowl. Exhale, pull belly in, little tug of the strap, hinge. Okay, we're working with straight limbs and straight backs, or at least straight left leg, straight spine. Inhale. Exhale, pull belly in, little tug of the strap. Lead with heart and chin towards toes. I'm going to pause here because I can really feel this in my left hamstring, which happens to be not as flexible as my right side. So I don't have to go too far to feel something. One more breath or two on this first side with this type of movement with straight leg and straight spine. And I'm going to release the strap. Softness in the knee. I can bend this left knee. Let the chin drop. Back rounds. Hands on the floor or even on the shin. Get into that honoring of self position. Breathe into your back body. Make it expand. And when we think about community, as far as that saying of I've got your back, now maybe it's you that's providing the support for your community, or maybe you're needing support. Either from your community, okay, people outside of you, but you can actually move back inside of self, tap into all your resources, your strengths within you, and you can be your own support sometimes, because sometimes we just find ourselves in those positions when we have to rely on ourselves, our own strengths and abilities. Again, another way, it's full circle, another way of honoring yourself. 3 more breaths. If you're holding onto the strap, release the strap, place your hands on the mat, and just walk yourself back up. Take your time, unraveling the spine, sitting up as tall as can be at the end. There we are. Good. Now go ahead and relax here, okay? Now, we use the blanket as a bit of a lift. We sat on the edge of the blanket to do our forward fold. We're going to do another one. Now, You can also just fold your blanket more, just providing a little bit more height. I'm going to try, let's see, actually I'm going to try my cushion. Okay, it might be too high, but we'll see. With the same effect, getting up onto the cushion and kind of towards the edge, I can really feel my body feel launched forward. And that's exactly what I want to feel. Again, you can do that with a couple of blocks. Again, maybe a folded blanket, but just a little bit more height. Now you're going to cross your legs. Now you can just cross at the ankles or shins, okay? That might work. You can even sit in a half lotus, which I think I'm going to try. Okay, just crossed legs, just whatever feels comfortable and good there. And already feel propelled forward. See how I'm already propelled forward, but my spine is long. Alrighty? It's going to move my strap out of the way because I don't need that, but I'm supporting myself with my hands so I just don't topple over forward. Okay, let's inhale and get that fully extended spine. Exhale, pull belly in. I'm just going to walk the hands forward and continue to fold. Now we're moving towards a place where, because the legs are crossed, you're going to get some hip opening here, okay? Again, just finding the spot that feels good, okay, that you can hold for a bit. Continue to crawl forward. You can certainly let the chin lower, let the back round. Here's some things you can do as well. Now you might be able to fold pretty deep and let your forehead come all the way down to the floor, but that's pretty deep, especially for the hips. So I'm going to bring in my stacked blocks. Let's see, I might need to stack one a little higher like this. This, I think, yes, this will work. So I'm just resting my forehead on some stacked blocks. My legs are crossed. I'm in a forward fold. My arms are extended. I can actually relax my arms here. And just settle into this space. So a different style of forward fold. Let's go back to that full circle intention of our forward fold, starting with self-love, appreciation, honoring. Deep breathing to expand the lungs, breathing into the back side of the lungs, thinking about community, whatever community that might be. Maybe even thinking how you can support your community or how that community can support you. Coming full circle, tapping into, maybe just bring to mind some of your own personal strengths, abilities, traits, and how those parts of self are ways to support yourself. 3 more breaths here. Then slowly start to rise. You might just press your hands into the mat. Again, just starting to lift a little bit here. I'm still kind of propelled forward, which helps those forward folds. So I'm just going to kind of scoot forward so I can move my pillow away so I can just sit up a little easier, just like this. Now the hips were getting a lot of work there, so you might want to extend the legs, like so. Let's do this. Since we were folded forward all that time, maybe sit in the center of your mat, kind of clear your mat, make sure you've got space. Carefully roll down onto your back. Bring knees to chest, just a quick forward fold, but then extend the body. Extend the legs out front, and maybe reach your arms behind you, lengthening. There we go. Because sometimes just being in a forward fold for a long time can be a little confining. So we want to create space and lengthen. Let's go ahead and draw just the right knee into chest. Catch it in your hands. Carefully draw it in. And then kind of take that right knee that's bent out to the right side a little bit. Just like that. And then if you can hold this just like this if you want. Or take half happy baby pose where you kind of kick the foot up towards the ceiling, and if you can, reach up, grab hold of the bottom of the foot, and gently press down. And if you can't reach the bottom of the foot, maybe you'll just hold on to the ankle or shin, or keep that knee bent like this, okay? All of them are correct. We're just doing half of a hip opener, okay? Half happy baby pose, just to continue feeling some release and relief in the low back, okay? Helping that extending quality after all those forward folds. 2 more breaths. Let's release and extend. Let's do that complete extension again. Straight legs out front, arms behind you. Lengthen. Take a deep breath. Let's do the other side. Hug left knee in, catch it in your hands. And then just kind of send it to the left side a little bit to help open. I'm just letting this left elbow rest on the floor. That way my leg, my shin, can actually just rest up against that hand. And again, this can be the pose. Or kick that left foot up towards ceiling. Reach up with this left hand. Grab hold of the bottom of the foot. Press gently. Now this could be pretty intense, but if it feels okay, go ahead and go for it, or soften it up. Just by holding onto the ankle or calf. Okay, or just that original setup where you're just holding onto the knee or shin. Three more breaths. Okay, keep this left knee hugging in, but just bring it back to center. And then let's draw the right knee in and just give yourself a little hug. Some movement here is appropriate as well. And we'll take a twist. We'll start by taking the knees over to the left side while you extend your right arm to the right side. Once you're in place, this is something I've been adding. We're just going to inhale, fill yourself up, and exhale through the mouth with a sigh. So you can kind of feel the body settle into the pose. Let's take 3 more breaths here. When you're complete, just come back up to center, pause in center so you can experience the realignment of the spine. And then when you are ready, go ahead and send the knees over to the right side as you extend your left arm to the left side. If you'd like, once you're in place, inhale, exhale with the sigh through your mouth, feel the body settle. Hold here. And then take 3 more breaths. And when you're finished, go ahead and bring the knees back up to center, allowing the spine to realign. You might give yourself a little gentle hug. Okay, let's go ahead and extend the legs out front again. One more full body stretch, extending the arms back behind you. Let's inhale. Feel that reaching feeling. When you exhale, bring your arms down by your side and let the whole body relax. We arrived in Shavasana. Now, you're certainly welcome to move into any extra poses, things that we've missed, and things you'd like to add on your own. Please feel free. And whenever you feel complete with all the extra movements, find stillness, find relaxation. It might be here in Shavasana. Since you have all these wonderful props, feel free to use your props. Blankets, your pillows, anything like that to help support your legs, your knees, your head, your feet. And just make your way into that very comfortable place so you can begin your meditation, your final meditation. We open with meditation and we close with meditation. Feel free to use a personal mantra for your meditation. And perhaps a mantra of self-love, honoring. As best as you can, just hold here in stillness. If your mind begins to wander, that's okay. Just acknowledge the thought that you might be having at the moment. Tell yourself you'll come back to that thought, just set it to the side. And then perhaps take a slow, deep breath in and out as a way to come back to the present moment. Return to your personal mantra. Relax. Anytime your mind begins to wander, just take that action. Acknowledge the thought, set it to the side, take a deep breath to come back to the present moment. Stay here as long as you'd like. Continue with your personal mantra and meditation. Even as I end the practice, you're welcome to stay just like this. Once again, just return to the awareness of your breath. Stay in the present moment. Perhaps listening to the sound of your breath. Now your body is responding to your breath. And when it is time to move, continue focusing on your breathing and take 5 intentional deep breaths. These deeper breaths starting to bring energy and movement to your body and mind. And after your 5th breath, moving slowly, carefully roll onto either side of your body. Pause here. Then continue to move in slow motion and guide your way up to seated. Find a comfortable seat. Feel free to sit on something soft like your pillow or blanket. Maybe with crossed legs. Feel the extension of your spine. Shoulders relaxed, arms are relaxed. Hands can just rest in your lap for a moment. Once you're here, just find stillness, take a breath. We'll add one more movement together. Here we go, and inhale to extend the arms out and up, reaching high. Exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. And once here, just take one more breath. And as we come to the close of this journey together, we bow, saying, Namaste.